What's up here, guys? So I have a video for you. It's not really a coaching video, but it's something that I'm very passionate about and want to talk to you all about as a nutrition specialist and someone who works in the health industry as a health coach. So this is going to be kind of multifaceted video in the fact that we are going to talk about some aspects of coaching, but I also really want to jump into a huge misconception and a huge area of information that a lot of the people leading the nutrition argument these days are completely skipping over, and it's starting to kind of get under my skin a little bit that nobody's addressing the actual issue here, and we're just kind of skirting around it, trying to avoid the massive problem that actually exists that created the issue that we're seeing now. And instead everyone just wants to keep coming up with a new band-aid instead of pulling the bullet out of the wound that's bleeding and fixing the wound. Everyone's just like, oh, well, try this band-aid, it'll last longer, or try this band-aid, it'll last even longer, or try this band-aid, you won't even notice it's there for about 10 years. Okay, so you guys know, as a coach, I do not advocate band-aids. Band-aids are there only until you deal with the underlying wound, just to stop the bleeding long enough and allow the wound to heal, but you have to address the underlying wound. So what am I talking about? What are we talking about wounds for, Seth? Okay, we're talking about nutrition. We are talking about nutrition. I keep hearing people going back and forth between the carnivore movement and the vegan movement. And, you know, the carnivore movement's trying to blame the vegan community and sugar and a plant-based diet on all of the issues that are going on with this pandemic and the health crisis in the world. And there is some merit to that. And then the vegan movement's wanting to blame the carnivore movement and animal-based diets on the fact that there's cruelty to animals and that this is what's causing disease and blah, blah, blah. There's some merit to that as well. But here's the problem. Neither effing one of them is right. Neither one of them is addressing the actual problem here. So, if you want to talk about the fact that unsanitary living conditions for animals is what produces the breeding grounds for pandemics, sure, okay, I can see the science behind that. Absolutely. Okay, yes, the cruelty, the way that we treat animals in order to be able to sustain the amount of animal products that this world is consuming is abhorrible. It is disgusting, and it needs to be dealt with. But this is where the binary thinking comes back in with humans. The solution is not to jump to the opposite extreme and say, oh, well, then the solution is let's just all go vegan. This doesn't solve the problem, because this creates a whole nother set of problems. Number one, our bodies are not biologically designed to be vegan. They're not. We don't produce the correct digestive enzymes. We don't have the proper digestive tract to be a completely vegan species. Now, don't get me wrong, I have plenty of vegan friends, and I will not try and convert them to eating animal products if they want to stick with eating a vegan diet. And I understand a lot of them do it for moral reasons, and I respect that. But to say that it is healthier for the human body is a lie. It is a lie. And the reason I know this is because almost every vegan that I know, after a certain period of time of being vegan, starts to experience adverse health effects to a vegan diet. They start having to take more and more supplements. They start having more and more digestive issues and having to supplement this and that to correct the issues. So it's the vegan diet. The human body is not designed to be vegan for an extended period of time. Can it survive on a vegan diet for a certain period of time? Yes. Will it actually feel better going from a crappy processed meat diet to a vegan diet on whole foods for a short period of time? Absolutely, you will feel better because you're getting rid of a ton of garbage in your diet. But it's not because the diet's vegan. It's because you're cutting out a bunch of preservatives and shit that you had in your old diet with all of the processed meats and crap that you were eating. It has nothing to do with the fact that the diet is vegan. It's the fact that you're switching to whole foods. So, the solution is not to go vegan, but we also have to stop not addressing the major problem of why is it that we're over-consuming animal products. Here is the reason why. And here's the reason why switching to vegan won't work, is because all you're going to do is if you get rid of animal products and switch them up with vegetable products, we're going to over-consume vegetables. That comes with its whole other source of issues within the human body and with the planet. If we're having to feed everybody with just plants, we're going to cause a whole nother host of issues with our planet, because then we have to destroy land in order to grow all of this food. And we're not even talking about soil depletion, how like certain foods that we will need to eat on a vegan diet can only be grown in certain areas of the world. So we are very reliant on international transportation for a vegan diet to work, and the impacts that that has on the environment, that's massive. So we're not addressing that issue by switching to a vegan diet. But here's the thing, the solution is also not to be carnivore, because our bodies are omnivorous. Our bodies are designed to have both. And the problem is not eating animals or eating plants. The problem is we are eating in excess. That is the problem. Why are we eating in excess? Why is nobody addressing that issue? The argument is not whether or not we should be vegan or carnivore. The argument should be, why is it that we have a society so full of people that are so unwilling to deal with their thoughts and emotions that they are killing themselves by buffering them away with massive amounts of food, whether it's vegan, whether it's carnivore, whether it's omnivorous. The problem is we are over consuming food. And there, right there, is where we need to address the problem. It's not just the food and where it's coming from. Guys, we live in a world, in a society nowadays that is so full of instant gratification and buffering away our thoughts and emotions instead of learning to be with them and recognize them and realize they're part of life, and we need to get to the underlying cause of these emotions and thoughts and beliefs that we have, and that buffering them away with food, alcohol, television, whatever it is that you want to use in excess is not going to fix the problem. And so all of this disease we're seeing from over-consuming food, you can create disease by over-consuming meat. You can create disease by over-consuming sugar. You can create disease by over-consuming all fruits and vegetables. The common denominator here is over-consumption. There is an optimum human diet. And in that optimum human diet, neither plants nor animals are over-consumed. In an optimal human diet, you can eat locally and survive and thrive and be healthy. But we're not addressing that because nobody wants to look at the big pink elephant in the room that is our thinking that is causing our overconsumption, that is our emotional distress that is causing our overconsumption, that is our emotional eating to the point that we can't even recognize physical hunger anymore because we've disconnected from our bodies so much. That is the problem. So, guys, I don't want to see one more post about how the vegan movement's going to solve all of the problems with human health and the world and the pandemic. It's not going to work. I don't want to hear one more post about how eating carnivore is going to solve all the world's health problems and the issue with the pandemic and the environment. It's not going to work. It will not work. I promise you. Until we start addressing the underlying cause of the overconsumption, we will continually keep recreating issues with our environment and with the human body over and over and over again in different ways. Cut out the crap, guys. Nutrition community, the food industry, listen the F up. Cut out the crap. Start dealing with the underlying problem. It's in our heads. It is all in our heads. It's in our thinking, it's in our belief systems, it's the crap that society and our government has been feeding us for years and years and years that has led to us over-consuming food and believing that it's normal. Believing that not over-consuming food is somehow restrictive and an extreme, and that eating healthy is somehow non-loving and restrictive and extreme. It's such crap. And that is where we need to be looking. This whole argument back and forth of whether plant-based or animal-based diet is healthier is complete effing nonsense. It's such nonsense because really what it is a distraction from the real problem. And the real problem is that we have a huge emotional societal problem, and we are trying to buffer it away with food, alcohol, television, sex, whatever the hell we can get our hands on. So until we address that problem, you can talk about veganism, carnivorism, whatever the hell diet you want to come up with, it's not going to fix the issue. Guys, it's in the thinking. It's why I got into what I'm doing now, because I realized after 7 years of working with people on exercise and diet, nobody was actually getting anywhere. I wasn't getting anywhere with myself until I started getting in here and dealing with what was causing the eating problem. The eating problem wasn't just the foods. I could cut out sugar all day long. I can still develop an eating disorder on a ketogenic diet, and I can still make myself unhealthy eating a ketogenic diet. It's up here. This is where the problem lives, guys. It's not in the food. It's not out there. The solution to our problem is in here. Stop turning away from it. It's here and it's here, but it's inside of us. The solution is inside of us. It's not something outside. So, yeah, sure, we need to address the food industry. Yes, we need to address our government. And yes, we do need to address the external problem that we have created. But we need to understand that that problem came from a problem that we have in here and in here, not from a problem that we have out here. And until we address that problem, we will just keep recreating it in other ways. Guys, I can't even say it enough. I can't say it enough. Stop ignoring your thinking. If you think that you're going to out diet, that you're going to, I don't know, out anyway you're thinking, you never will. It never will work. Absolutely. You can, it's the same problem, different words over and over again. You know, everyone wants to look at the external issues as being the cause of the problem when we created the problem with our human thinking issues, our belief issues. Everyone wants to ignore that because it's too hard to look at, but it's the truth. And until we look at it, we'll just keep recreating it. So yes, the problem that we're seeing right now with violence, the problem that we're seeing right now with racism, the problem that we're seeing right now with this pandemic, the problem that we're seeing with obesity, diabetes, all the human health issues, it all goes back to thinking, guys. Stop ignoring it. Rant over. I love you all. Have a wonderful day. And please stop this crap about the vegan and the carnivore diet. It will not solve the world's problems. It just won't. Be vegan if you want to. Be proud of that if you want to. But stop telling the world that they have to be vegan in order to fix the problems. Be carnivore if you want to. But stop telling the world that that's the solution to the problems, because it's not. It is not. Our ancestors did not eat carnivore. Our ancestors did not eat vegan. And they were healthier. They weren't dealing with the crap that we're dealing with right now, which tells us it's not about the food. It's about the thinking. That's where we need to start. Love you all. Peace out.